Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to go over Thanos Tier 4 with his new hillbilly uniform. And I say that because I don't think anyone likes it. And I don't think anyone thinks that it's really necessary for any kind of content. Even PvP, where he was originally, meta. Top 3, top 5. I think, I can't say that this uniform is better than Spider-Man's uniform. I think Spider-Man is still better. I think the stat bump that Thanos got was really mediocre. For example, for Tier 3 Thanos, his HP in timeline battle was around 230 to 240,000, like average, if you have like a really good set on your cards. And Thanos' stat bump is, in timeline battle numbers, it's like less than 100,000 HP. So I think everyone kind of noticed that his stat bump was mediocre. On top of that, I feel like his skills are a lot easier to avoid. Like his third is easier to avoid. His 5 has a charge up, so you could probably like switch out a character and avoid it. And his fourth is a much closer range, so you could easily run from that too, especially if you have debuff removal. And I could kill Thanos with a tier 3 Spider-Man, even if Thanos has like 400,000 HP and I'm one-shotting him with a level 80 character. I almost don't know the difference between his tier 3 and his tier 4 stat bump. So I think that's like the main takeaway. I think that people are frustrated, and it's a clear indication and reason why. Knocked him out cold with Hulk like I usually do, and I don't really see the difference at all. And then you wonder like what CTP is good for Thanos, and I don't think like any particular one stands out. I think like still Brilliant Authority or Brilliant Regen. People have tried Brilliant Refinement, but he has no guard break immunity, so he's just going to be like, dancing around until, the stat bump comes up from the Brilliant Refinement. But I mean, I've killed him with many characters so far, and he even has a support with Colossus, and his defenses are still not as significant. So, I mean, I think his AI rotation is now, instead of it being 4 into 5, now it's 4, 3 into 5. And I mean, I explained some of the cons of his uniform, but his uniform does have some pros. Like, it is better than his old uniform, but the main question is if it's worth 2,500 crystals, and the answer is no. Number one, it's not that aesthetically pleasing. His skills aren't that nice. I think they're actually much nicer on the other uniform, but that's just me. I mean, even though like, the harvesting and the cornfields looks really nice, and Black Dwarf is cutting the grass and everybody loves that, it's gonna get boring fast in my opinion. Number two, it seems like the uniform is based on the previous movie, and if that's the case, I think it should have the cost of a synergy uniform. Like, it has very similar skills. Like, the skills are pretty much copy and paste. So I don't understand the logic there, It's another reason to be very wary of this uniform. And I mean, I've heard many people say it offers PvE value, but I don't think that he's a primary PvE character to begin with, and I think that there are tons of better options out there where you don't have to spend double the resources for the tier 4. Now, I'm gonna say that I actually decided to purchase this uniform because I was getting increasingly frustrated with Thanos' old uniform, and I saw its many inconsistencies there. So I will explain how Thanos' new uniform is better as we go along. So the opponent I faced previously was the first person that had a Thanos tier 4, which I believe his name was SZR, and he was in Challenger. Now I'm facing, I believe, Vicky's Kenny T. Stang's Thanos. I originally thought it was Vicky's, but it's not. But they have the exact same setup. This build, in my opinion, was less impressive than the one with Colossus. I thought he was much weaker. He was more susceptible to reflect. I think tier 4 Thanoses with Colossus are much less susceptible to reflect. And I've noticed that Thanos is starting to one-shot a lot of reflectors like Destroyer, like Silver Surfer, like Emma, because they're all level 70s. So when they get their level 80, because this uniform isn't as significant as the previous uniforms and their impact, Thanos is going to be replaced in the meta, probably within the next few months. Because like I said, he isn't even better than Spider-Man. I would say he isn't. And I mean, I could also kill him with the previous uniform. I have before, even though it's tough. A nice kill with Captain America. I think there are many reasons why Spider-Man is better. Number one, Spider-Man has native dodge. And native dodge on a tier 4, in my opinion, is much more adaptable and better than defense. Because defense, it varies. Like, the native defense on a character doesn't really matter in the long run. The brilliant authority defense matters. So when in addition, defense could be removed. You kind of treat it like a revive almost. But I mean, without Colossus, he just gets one-shotted even faster. So I think like Thanos, in order for him to be better than somebody like Spider-Man, he would have to have Colossus. But putting Colossus in a timeline battle setup now is very risky, because it turns out that characters like Ancient One are more important than characters like Colossus because they offer Ignore Dodge. Ignore Dodge is so much more important ever since Spider-Man came out in the meta with Jean Grey. I mean, look, I could potentially kill Thanos with Sentry and Silver Surfer. I mean, I'm fighting the toughest of the tough, But for others that don't have perfect builds, they have to be careful. So I use 7 teams like usual. My 7 teams, they haven't changed greatly. I've just swapped the reflectors. So I use Silver Surfer with Sentry now. And then I use Ancient One with Thanos and Captain America. And their performances with that Ignore Dodge buff are greatly enhanced. I also put Destroyer with Carnage because it was better. I'm actually wondering if Greed will be good for Thanos now, but I'm thinking he would be much too fragile. Leads me to think that there could be a theory that Netmarble is starting to recognize and see the importance of balance, because I don't think that Netmarble made Thanos mediocre on purpose. On purpose, I think they're focusing and they're realizing more of the manual play aspect. And that's the old Thanos, including the new one. And what you notice about the new one, and I'm just going into the more of the pros now I'm away from the cons, is that his third has a much wider range and it has more power, and his fourth has more power and it's much faster hitting. On manual play, my original Thanos was doing well. And for the new uniform, many people got a hunch that his manual play was better. I want to showcase that to you. Oh, yeah, so this is Carl's team now. I'm facing Carl's team, and his Thanos had a brilliant refinement. And as you can see, he is kind of more susceptible to attack that way. And I wouldn't heavily rely on HP for his defensive attributes. I still think that authority is the best option to get the best out of his defense. I mean, yeah, as you can see, Spider-Man is posing more of a threat. And getting the hit on him is hard. I have to combine so many skills. His cooldown time is also like slower than Spider-Man's as well. But yeah, as you can. So, let's see. I would probably rate Thanos still below Jean, Gore, Spider-Man, and Hulk. But I would say that maybe Thanos is better. He could be better than Carnage because he is more efficient whilst not having a revive. But I would think that he's not better than Emma yet because Emma's much cheaper and she's more effective. So I think while they're fighting for a spot in top 5, Thanos doesn't make it past top 5. If Gore can still solo at tier 3 while Thanos can't, then that doesn't mean that somehow just because Thanos is tier 4 that makes him better than Gore. Absolutely not. I think Thanos needs more help than Gore does. And of course, the cost of Gore is like way less, and he doesn't even have a uniform. That is sad. If I can kill Thanos with Gambit in 2023 when Thanos is tier 4, that is kind of bad, not gonna lie. Guess what? He probably can't be better than Hulk either because Hulk I can just give buffs to, like Insight and Ignore Dodge, and he can solo much better. Yeah, so you avoid the 4 and then the 3 comes up, right? But there are times where his 5th could one-shot you or not, and if it doesn't, it'll usually kill him. That was a nice destroyer kill. That's part of the reason why I have him with Carnage. Yeah, one of my favorite kills I got here, I had to make a double switch, is that I delayed Punisher's 3 and I got the counter. Pick up the pieces. Because, like, Emma can't... Emma could still reflect his 3rd skill most of the time, not all the time, but she can't reflect Thanos' 5th anymore. And I think the reason why is because it's an aimed projectile this time, it's not wide. So I'm going to use Hillbilly Thanos. And guess what? Guaranteed kill every single time. 3 cancel 4. I've even killed Jean Grey right after. So I think that his uniform is better, but I don't think but I don't think it's worth the cost, nor is it necessary. Alright, so here I face Vicky Curry, actually, and I get a solo. So I hope you enjoy that if you stuck around. And I'll probably review him and make an episode for him later down the line, as well as like many others, because I'm behind on the season. But that's what's probably going to be coming up next. If you're new, subscribe, share, don't forget to like, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.